Yisrael, Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim Betzara, Betzara Uvashivya, Haomdim Ben Hayam, Uvein Hayabasha. As for our brethren, the entire house of Israel, who still remain in distress and captivity, whether on sea or on land, may God have compassion on them and bring them from distress to relief, from darkness to light, from servitude to redemption, at this moment speedily, very soon. Achenu. As for our brothers, the song was composed by Canadian Jewish songwriter A.B. Rothenberg in the 1980s. The prayer originates in Machzor Vitry, an 11th century prayer book from France composed by disciples of Rashi. It is incorporated in traditional prayer books and read after Torah readings, a time when the entire community is gathered together. It asks God to be merciful on Jews, Achenu, our brothers being held captive. The prayer beseeches God to bring them from darkness to light, slavery to redemption. We have been reciting this prayer for 900 years. Because for over 900 years, Jews have been taken captive and sometimes ransomed. When the Babylonians conquered Israel, they took captives. When the Romans conquered Israel and destroyed Jerusalem, they took captives. When a ruler of a city or province or kingdom needed more money, he would take Jews captive. Sometimes a Jew living in a ghetto would miss curfew, and he would be taken prisoner. Some of you may have seen those obelisks in the plazas of Italian towns. Well, that's where the Jews would be chained until they were redeemed by their fellow Jews and their ransom was paid. This prayer reflects our history and today's reality. The phrase Matir Asurim, free the captive, is spoken in 2 of our daily prayers. The captive Jews, Achenu, our brothers, we never stop praying for them. We are always ready to redeem them. This summer, a young Israeli therapist and novelist, Ayelet Gundar Goshen, spoke here at the temple. And when I met her in the chapel, she noticed my dog tag that says, Halev Shalanu Shivui Ba'aza. Our heart is held captive in Gaza with the date October 7th. Many of us here at Temple wear this tag. It's become second nature to me in almost a year. Sometimes I forget I'm wearing it. But when Ayelet saw it, she had tears in her eyes. Since I arrived, I've seen so many people wearing this tag at the airport, at my hotel, and now here. Is it for us? She asked. I told her about our temple, the many members who have been to Israel since October 7th, some more than once. The families who are waiting to go with their children to celebrate B'nai Mitzvah. The ways in which we support Israelis because we are family. She couldn't get over it because Israelis today feel isolated. When they hear that we think about them, plan to visit them, raise money to rebuild their homes, and welcome them into our community, they feel a connection beyond philanthropy, built on mutual love. I struggle that it is still not enough. The loss and the trauma are too overwhelming. And when I see people going out in Tel Aviv, which we know they must do, I feel that if we just peel back a little bit the curtain on their lives, we will find within them an abyss of pain. And now, With missiles from Iran, the abyss widens. Who is worthy to carry their burden? It must be us. There is no one else. On the morning we woke to the news of the murders of Hirsch, Carmel, Alex, Eden, Or, and Almog, my daughter Molly, who was visiting us, she put her head on my shoulder and she cried, "Ima, it hurts all the time, and then it hurts all over again." As a parent, I want so much to take away the pain, but now I'm only able to sit with her in the pain. This past March, I was fortunate enough to go to Israel with Rabbi Barris, our executive director, Sharon Levy, our head of Rambam Day School, Nora Anderson, and our director of lifelong learning, Tamara Donnenfeld. We bore witness. We cried. That we expected. But what surprised us and what we did not expect was that our presence brought hope to the Israelis we met. Yes, we did pull weeds on a moshav whose workers had left the area or the country. We planted trees on another moshav with beautiful modern homes, many shuttered with its residents evacuated. In a hotel on the grounds of Sde Boker, Ben Gurion's kibbutz, we enjoyed lavish Israeli breakfasts, together with families evacuated from the north and from the south. Families of 4 or 5 in a single hotel room, their beloved pets, their dogs being fostered by Sde Boker kibbutz members. At each location where we volunteered or met with local Israelis, they shared their horrific experiences of October 7th and its aftermath. And then they thanked us. And they asked us, "Tell everyone what you saw here. Share and repeat our stories. This is the way you will help us." One of those families are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of my father-in-law's first cousin, Fruma. Fruma's parents were murdered in the Shoah. She and her 2 sisters came to Israel from Romania in 1946 on what was called Aliyat HaNoar, the youth Aliyah, the mission that brought orphaned children from Europe to Israel. She settled in Kibbutz Chanita on the Lebanese border in the western Galilee and helped to build the kibbutz. Now, after 77 years, following October 7th, Fruma was evacuated from the kibbutz. Her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren were evacuated with over 60,000 Israelis from the very homes they built to be safe in this world. As is the case in Israel, families find each other. And there in the hotel in the Negev, far from our homes, I found Megid and Ya'ala, Megid's children and husband, the grandchildren and grandchildren of Fruma. I happened to recognize Megid immediately because she looked exactly the way I remembered her mother Tzvia 25 years ago. And as is the case in Israel, there was a warm family reunion, but which sadly included learning about another grandchild of Fruma's, Lior Arzi, who was killed in Gaza. Lior was a medic in the army, a volunteer paramedic at Magen David Adom. He was about to get married and start medical school. Lior was the salt of the earth, a 3rd-generation kibbutznik. We heard Lior's story, and stories from Sderot, Nova, Be'eri, Ra'im, and even the town of Ofakim, well into the Negev, not even that close to the Gaza envelope. We came to listen and to hear. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, hear, O Israel. We call the Shema the watchword of our faith. Its recitation is declaration of God's unity. The last letter in the word Shema and the last letter in the word Echad create another word, Ed, Witness. A witness is one who pays attention, who sees, who hears, who comes forward to tell the story. Our obligation to tell the stories of the pain and suffering so they will not be forgotten or denied. We know how to bear witness. Since the war began, Temple Beth Am has shown 3 movies about the Supernova Music Festival. We have heard from survivors of the festival, families of hostages, IDF soldiers and officers, informed representatives of Israeli and American advocacy organizations. We have held prayer vigils and sing Hatikva every Saturday morning at Minyan. We write articles and teach classes, yes, and preach sermons. We do this to bear witness, so all of you will know and bear witness too. We need all of you to step it up. There should be no empty seats when we talk about Israel. There are no politics in our caring for our people, and compassion fatigue is never an option for the Jewish people. We must show up for each other. Our obligation, Torah teaches us, goes further. In Leviticus 19:16, we are taught, Lo ta'amod al dam rayecha, don't stand by the blood of your neighbor. This commandment requires us to step in and save a fellow Israelite. I know that my cousins in Israel, the Artsy family, know the meaning of the Talmudic phrase, whoever destroys a single life in Israel destroys an entire universe. Whoever saves one life is saving an entire universe. This is the work Lior did, but couldn't continue. But his family and friends will not stand idly by, watching the destruction of other universes. They are taking action to continue Lior's life-saving work. They are raising funds and established a scholarship in Lior's memory for paramedics who want to continue their medical education, the way Lior was about to start medical school. Here too, at Temple Beth Am, we rise to action. Eden, one of our teams, created beads for Israel. She makes beaded bracelets by hand and sends 100% of the profits to Brothers and Sisters for Israel, one of the largest Israeli aid organizations providing for those affected by the war. And I am wearing some now. Usually all the girls do here. Ways to help. In November, Temple Beth Am families will host 7 Israeli families coming to Miami for a week. This project, called T for G, Thanks for Giving, recognizes the heroes of the civilian kibbutz security patrols from all the kibbutzim around the Gaza envelope. Our Temple Beth Am families are opening their homes and opening their hearts to give a respite, to say thank you, and enlarge our Jewish family circle. Make Israel and Israelis part of your Jewish family circle. Visit our Tikkun Olam page on our website and see the many ways to support and connect with Israel. At Temple Beth Am, we don't stand by. The Israelis, our TBAM leadership, met, and all our friends and family in Israel will not be swayed from their dreams to live a normal life. They strive to endure their trauma of this war, and their determination is inspiring. Like family, we inspire each other with mutual love and concern. Achenu. We stand with each other as brothers and sisters with dignity and humility, because there is one singular story of the Jewish people, and it demands of us to ensure our Jewish homeland. A new year is beginning. In spite of the pain, we have the agency and we feel the urgency to respond and help. Rosh HaShanah celebrates the creation of the world, and we read in Genesis that this world was first created, tohu vavohu, unformed and void, v'choshech al panei tohom, and darkness over the face of the abyss. In a poem written by Tzur Geta following October 7th, the speaker recalls from his childhood his teacher Michal's questions about this verse in Genesis. She asked who could tell her the meaning of unformed and void with a darkness over the abyss. None of the students raised their hands to give an answer. But on October 7th, the answer revealed itself to our speaker. He called his teacher Michal's home on the kibbutz. The phone rang, but no one picked up. I have your answer, he said. This is the unformed and void, and this is the darkness over the abyss. But the Torah verse in Genesis continues, and light dispels the darkness. God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good. We are that good light, a light that shines on the truth and exposes the evil of those who want to destroy us. We are that good light, a light that warms and makes energy and growth possible. We are that good light, a light that illuminates the path forward. A new year is beginning, and we are judged for the quality of our character and the significance of our actions. Our prayer says, there is no evil decree that cannot be averted. We are not destined to live in despair. These holy days, these 10 days of teshuvah, repentance, and return are days of hope. The Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai wrote in his poem, I walked past the house where I lived once. I want to be written again in the book of life, to be written every single day till the writing hand hurts. Our job this year is to write our brothers and sisters in Israel into our book of life. In our book, they rebuild, they flourish, and they know joy. In our book, we stand beside them and speak up for them in a single voice. Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael. As for our brethren, the entire house of Israel who still remain in distress and captivity, whether on land or on sea, may we have compassion on them and bring them from distress to relief, from darkness to light, from servitude to redemption, at this moment, speedily, very soon. And let us all say, Amen.